Hi there everyone, my name is Rina Hicks and I am in my office. Somebody just barged in, one of my amazing team members on our digital team, and said you just need to break this thing down slowly. So I like stories, so just walk this journey with me. I want to tell you another story. I've done another videos, but if this is the first one you're watching, no worries, let's go together. This story transformed my life because I lived it. All right, so one day, a gentleman comes into my office with slippers from the university. He was 19 at the time and came and sat at my desk, and he told me how his mother, who I think was a single mom at the time, had passed away, unfortunately, and he was it. He was a sibling, I think there were 4 children, and he knew that he had no alternatives, but he was celebrating the fact that he had just received 24,000 shillings from HELB as a loan for his semester in university. And so when he came to see me, the purpose for his visit was to find out what can he invest in so that then his money grows, because he knows he doesn't have a parent who can help him during this time. I think he just fascinated me because I was in a totally different scenario. I was staying with my parents. I had just started working. This is like 19 years ago or so. Anyway, so we start talking and we start our journey together. So he'd come in and we look at what are the different stocks that he can buy, and he'd bring 2,000, sometimes 5,000. The first investment was 5,000 shillings, and we carried on for 4 years. And after that, I handed him over because I changed my roles and handed him over to another colleague at Faida. Anyway, long story short, several years later, in 2011, he then requests for payment. I didn't even know that he had requested for payment. I see this check request or payment request for 2.85 million shillings. And I looked at it and his name was on it. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what? When did we get here? And I realized that he had been doing so much better than I was, who was so much better off. And so I called him and I said, dude, what did you do? Like, how is it that you're getting a check of 2.85? He's like, Rina, but I remained consistent. I was doing what you were telling me to do. Actually, his story is what transformed my life. I was just like, I need to wake up. This thing of telling guys what to do and I don't do it myself has to end today. So from 2011, I can assure you, I'm a little bit more responsible and I've done much, much better. Anyway, so he was selling his shares to be able to buy a real estate property or put a deposit down for a real estate property. Can you believe this, guys? From a loan from HELB of 24,000 shillings, this gentleman became a solid investor. Now he has investments in all kinds of things. But the point and the reason I'm sharing his story is because this thing of investing and growing your wealth begins with what you believe, your mindset. A lot of times we just throw our hands in the air and say, managing money is so tough. I don't have enough. Or, it's, people who are in the financial field who know how to grow their wealth. And I'll never know how to do it. It's just so difficult. The thing that you focus on becomes your reality. And so the first thing I want to encourage you to start to do is not hear our videos and go like, it's so tough to understand, or it's for Kinanani. Even if you have a business in Grogon or in wherever, and you're generating a revenue that is small or big, it doesn't matter. It's about just an income. Wealth creation is income of whatever kind, plus consistency, okay, plus time. So it doesn't matter whether you have 2,000, 100,000, 10 million or 100, it doesn't matter. We speak to everybody. That's the first thing. Secondly, as long as you're consistent, as long as you're disciplined or consistent, and you give it time, and you have an income of any kind, you can be wealthy. So I want to just emphasize that. The last thing I want to say on this video is this. I remember when I was buying a car, okay? Long time ago, I was buying a car and I went to this car dealership. And this gentleman who owned the car dealership was such a nice guy. He was like a fatherly figure who was so warm. And he said to me, come, let me show you the car that you need to buy. And he shows me this gray Mitsubishi Lancer. And I was like, gosh, I've never seen this car before. Like, for me, it just never registered as an option. It was always Toyota. Okay, so I look at this car and I'm like, okay, I drove it. And then he said to me, you need to warm your car for a few minutes when you start it in the morning. He just was so kind to me. And I finally decided I was going to buy the car. Guys, the moment I drove that car out of that car lot, I promise every Nairobian decided to buy a Mitsubishi Lancer. Promise. Everyone had a Mitsubishi Lancer. I saw them everywhere. And that thing taught me a lesson. What you focus on becomes your reality. So if you want to focus on, it's so hard, or Nairobi ni iko na wenyewe, the economy is so bad, that's going to be your reality. So even when things are tough, I have to find a way to just tell myself, I am going to thrive. I'm going to make it. This thing is going to work. I'm going to start it. I'm going to get the money for it. And I believe and trust that God is going to help me, because He will. But if I believe He won't, imagine, that's going to be my reality. What's your reality?